Must watch. If a woman tells you these 5 things, leave her immediately. Stoicism. Modern Stoic. Don't waste your time with explanations. People only hear what they want to hear. Beijos Zerenia Paulo Coelho. There's an important truth many men rarely hear, and it's one that can save you from years of heartache and wasted energy. Sometimes, what a woman says isn't just a casual comment or a moment of honesty. It's a window into her true mindset. When she utters certain phrases, consider it a clear, unmistakable signal, not something to debate or excuse. This is the moment to protect your peace, your dignity, and your future by walking away. As men who understand the value of our time, our energy, and our self-respect, we owe it to ourselves to be discerning. In this conversation, we'll uncover 5 specific things women say that should be your immediate cue to exit. No hesitation, no compromise. Too often, men stay locked in relationships where respect is absent, value is ignored, and manipulation is the norm, trapped by fear of loss or misguided beliefs that patience can fix all things. But the truth is, not every woman deserves your loyalty or your endurance. Some will prey on your kindness, exploiting your patience and blurring your judgment with sweet words that mask harmful intentions. This isn't about blaming women, it's about waking yourself up to reality. When you recognize these red flags, phrases that sound harmless but reveal toxic patterns, you'll save yourself from trying to mend what's beyond repair. These words are not just sentences, they are warnings in disguise. When you hear them, don't argue or explain. Respect yourself enough to walk away. I'll break down why each phrase is a deal breaker and what it reveals about her mindset, so you can spot these signs with clarity and confidence. If you're tired of confusion, mixed signals, and constantly walking on eggshells, pay close attention. This isn't just advice, it's your safeguard for peace of mind, purpose, and the life you deserve. Let's get started. 1. I don't really care about your feelings. I don't really care about your feelings. That may sound harsh, but this blunt truth is essential for any man committed to stoicism and self-mastery. If a woman tells you this, or anything that dismisses your core values and personal boundaries, you must leave immediately. This isn't about cruelty. It's about clarity. Real strength comes from embracing reality as it is, not as you wish it to be, and understanding that your peace of mind cannot be sacrificed for someone else's emotional whims. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." If a woman dismisses your feelings or tells you she doesn't care about them, she disrespects your internal world, the very foundation of your being. You must protect that foundation relentlessly. Don't be fooled by sugar-coated words or fleeting charm. If a woman tells you things like, "I don't care about your feelings," or "your emotions don't matter to me," it signals a toxic disregard for your humanity. That kind of relationship is a slow poison. It drains your energy, shatters your self-esteem, and derails your path to becoming the best version of yourself. The Stoic man understands that he cannot control others, only his reaction, but he also knows that he must not tolerate disrespect or emotional neglect. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one, advised Marcus Aurelius. In this context, being one means walking away from those who belittle your worth and refusing to engage in emotional games that sabotage your growth. Remember, Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, but mastering them. It's about seeing clearly, feeling deeply, yet acting wisely. If a woman tells you she doesn't care about your feelings, she dismisses the very essence of your emotional intelligence and resilience. That is a clear sign that your values are not aligned. You must be uncompromising. Your emotional well-being is your responsibility, and no one else's disregard should ever undermine it. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your reaction here is decisive. Walk away. Hold your head high and don't look back, because you deserve respect, understanding, and partnership. Real life teaches us that relationships are not just about love or attraction. They're about mutual respect, growth, and support. If a woman openly tells you to dismiss your feelings, she denies the mutual foundation necessary for any lasting bond. You cannot build a future on uneven ground. You must be the captain of your ship, steering clear from storms that threaten your emotional stability. This is not about ego or pride. It's about survival and thriving. You have one life, one mind, one heart, and you owe it to yourself to guard them fiercely. As Seneca put it, associate with people who are likely to improve you. Walk away from those who don't. This is your call to action. Don't tolerate emotional neglect disguised as honesty or strength. Recognize these warning signs early and act with courage and decisiveness. Be the man who commands respect, not just demands it. Your Stoic path requires clarity, strength, and uncompromising standards. If you've experienced this kind of dismissal or disrespect, share your story below. How did you handle it? What did you learn? Your voice matters, and your experience can empower others walking the same path. Remember, strength isn't silence. It's the courage to confront, decide, and move forward. You must take that step now. Don't wait. Leave what no longer serves you and reclaim your peace with relentless determination. Comment to remember. I protect my peace and honor my worth. 2. I don't owe you anything. When a woman tells you, I don't owe you anything, she's not just making a casual statement. She's signaling a fundamental problem in the dynamic between you. What she's really saying is, I want the benefits without the responsibility. This phrase is a glaring red flag and should never be ignored or rationalized away. It often comes up when you try to set boundaries, seek clarity, or demand the bare minimum of respect that every relationship requires. You might have already invested your time, your energy, and sometimes your money. Yet the moment you ask for accountability or fairness, she shuts you down with, I don't owe you anything. At face value, it sounds reasonable, after all. Nobody owes anyone anything in this world. But in the context of a relationship, this phrase becomes a weapon, a way to reject mutual effort and maintain control without consequences. She wants your attention, your consistency, your emotional labor, but she's making it crystal clear she won't reciprocate unless it suits her whims. That's not empowerment. That's manipulation in its rawest form, wrapped in the guise of independence. In modern life, where everyone talks about empowerment and freedom, it's crucial to distinguish true strength from selfishness masked as autonomy. Relationships are not merely about romance or fleeting attraction. They are about reciprocity, shared responsibility, and emotional investment on both sides. When a woman uses this phrase, she is effectively telling you she wants to be in control, avoiding any form of accountability while still drawing on your resources. Think about it this way. You've been consistent, checking in, showing up when she needs you, making her feel valued, and when you finally bring up the imbalance you feel, instead of a conversation, you get dismissal. I don't owe you anything. That sentence says everything. She is not interested in building something solid with you. She's there to take as much as she can without paying a fair price. She views you as replaceable, not irreplaceable. It's a power play designed to keep you off balance and tethered to her on her terms alone. This is where most men falter. They hear, I don't owe you anything, and think maybe they've been too demanding, or that she just needs space. They soften their stance, keep giving, hoping things will improve. But that's exactly what she wants, a man who will tolerate disrespect and keep showing up, regardless of how little she invests back. A high-value man understands this is not about bending or negotiating. It's about recognizing the reality and acting on it decisively. He doesn't waste his emotional currency on people who refuse to respect him. He chooses women who prize connection and mutual growth over control and selfishness. When a woman dismisses your emotional needs and boundaries with this phrase, she's revealing her true colors. Believe her. Don't try to explain it away or convince yourself that things will change. This is your moment for clarity, not confusion. Applying modern stoicism here means taking control of your emotions and your choices. You can't control her words or actions, but you can control how you respond. You must protect your time, your energy, and your dignity by walking away. This is not about giving up. It's about standing firm on your values and refusing to tolerate disrespect disguised as freedom. Stoicism teaches us that what matters is virtue, living with integrity, self-respect, and wisdom. If a woman rejects these basic principles in your relationship, she is not your partner. She is a drain on your spirit and your growth. Remember, your loyalty is not a commodity to be exploited. It's a treasure to be shared with someone who values and reciprocates it. Don't settle for anything less. In a world that often glorifies keeping your options open and playing it cool, there is immense power in clarity and decisiveness. When you hear, "I don't owe you anything," don't linger in doubt or negotiation. That phrase is a boundary crossed, a warning signal flashing red. Your responsibility is not to fix her mindset or beg for respect. Your responsibility is to honor yourself by walking away, knowing that true connection demands mutual respect and accountability. That's the hallmark of a man who lives by Stoic principles today, unwavering in his standards, clear in his decisions, and courageous in his willingness to leave what no longer serves him. You owe yourself the strength to say no, the wisdom to see the truth, and the courage to leave. This is how you reclaim your power and pave the way for a relationship that honors you fully. Comment to own your power. I am worthy of respect and mutual loyalty. 3. That's just how I am. When a woman says, "That's just how I am," do not be fooled by the seemingly innocent tone or the faint aura of confidence this phrase might carry. This is no simple statement of personality. It is a firm, unyielding wall slammed shut against growth, accountability, and respect for the relationship you're striving to build. It's her way of saying, "I will not change, no matter how much my actions hurt you or damage what we have." This is not strength. This is rigidity cloaked in false pride. It is an immovable refusal to evolve. When she wields this phrase as a shield after you point out behavior that wounds the connection, be it coldness, disrespect, dismissiveness, or emotional instability, she is demanding that you accept mistreatment as your new normal. The unspoken message is clear. Deal with it or leave. If you hear this phrase, listen carefully. She is closing the door on progress and growth, and that door is one you cannot afford to stay behind. You might be tempted to mistake this for independence or authenticity. You might tell yourself, "She's just being real." But make no mistake, there is a crucial difference between being true to yourself and refusing to grow because it's convenient. True strength lies in the willingness to learn, to listen, and to adjust, especially when it comes to the people you love and the relationships that shape your life. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, reminded us that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When a person clings to, "That's just how I am," they are putting an obstacle on the path of growth and telling you, "I choose comfort over challenge, ego over evolution." If a man behaved this way, acting selfishly, emotionally distant, or immature, he would be called out immediately. Why then should you tolerate it from her? Why accept a double standard that allows emotional laziness to thrive under the guise of personality? As a man of value, you must refuse to settle for this. You do not accept stagnation masquerading as authenticity. If she truly valued you and your connection, she would want to rise above her shortcomings, to grow, to be better, not justify patterns that slowly erode your spirit. When she says, "That's just how I am," with pride rather than reflection, understand it as a declaration of complacency, not confidence. She is comfortable in her limitations, even if those limitations cause you to feel small, dismissed, or unappreciated. You do not fix this. You do not argue against a refusal to change. You see it clearly and you move on. Because anyone who refuses growth has already outgrown you. They have become a burden, a dead weight on your journey to becoming your best self. Do not mistake tolerance for strength. You are not obligated to accept excuses for bad behavior. You are not required to stay stuck beneath ceilings others have erected for their own comfort. Seneca said it best. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. You do not have time to waste on someone unwilling to grow. Your life is your power, your peace, your right. Demand that of yourself and those you allow into your world. If they cannot rise to the challenge, then they do not belong there. When you hear those words, "That's just how I am," you must recognize them for what they are, a declaration of emotional stagnation and a refusal to engage in the fundamental work of a healthy relationship. You must act decisively. You must protect your energy and your future. This is not about cruelty or impatience. It is about self-respect and clarity. It is about knowing your worth and commanding better. You must choose growth. You must choose strength. You must choose life. Do not let fear of loneliness or loss trap you in a cycle where you are the only one evolving, while she remains fixed in her comfort zone. Real connection requires two people willing to meet in the middle, willing to work, willing to grow. If that willingness is absent, so must you be. The moment she refuses to grow, she has already outgrown you. The future you deserve is built on mutual respect, accountability, and the courage to change. Be the man who refuses to accept less. This is your call to action. When she says, "That's just how I am," do not hesitate, do not rationalize, do not negotiate. Hear it, see it, and walk away. Strength is not in enduring excuses. Strength is in recognizing your value and demanding the best for your life and your love. Like, comment, and subscribe if you are ready to stop tolerating stagnation and start commanding the respect and growth you deserve. Because in the game of life, power belongs to those who refuse to settle, and you, above all, must be the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. 4. I can have any guy I want. When a woman tells you, "I can have any guy I want," do not be fooled into thinking this is a display of genuine confidence or an invitation for a meaningful connection. This statement is a calculated flex of ego, a subtle power play meant to put you on edge and remind you that your value is negotiable and contingent on her whims. It's not about building a bond, it's about control. When she says, "You're lucky I'm even giving you my attention," what she's really saying is, "Don't cross me or I'll walk." Many men don't catch the hidden disrespect because they confuse arrogance for self-worth or mistake bravado for strength. But let's be clear, a woman who constantly reminds you of the number of options she has is not focused on you. She's focused on her own insecurity masked by a veneer of superiority. She thrives on keeping you on edge, making you compete for her, while she offers the bare minimum of commitment or affection. This mindset, however, is not a sign of power. It's a sign of weakness. Real confidence does not need to be weaponized. Women who are truly confident and emotionally mature don't remind you that others are waiting in line. They don't build relationships on threats or comparisons. They bring peace, trust, and stability. When you hear those words, recognize that you're not dealing with love. You're dealing with fear. The fear of being replaced, the fear of not being enough, the fear that if you slip up, she will find someone better. And this fear poisons the relationship, forcing you into a corner where anxiety drives your actions rather than strength. You start overgiving, over-explaining, and bending over backward to avoid losing her approval. But the harsh truth is, you have already lost the moment you accept this dynamic. You lose your power, your dignity, and your peace of mind, all for the sake of proving your worth to someone who only values control, not connection. Contrast this with a woman who respects and values you. She will never need to make you feel replaceable or compete with an imaginary crowd. She shows you why you matter by how she treats you, not by boasting about her desirability or options. She connects, she uplifts, and she stands with you, not above you. The phrase, "I can have any guy I want," reveals not strength, but ego-driven insecurity. It's a manipulative tactic that diminishes you rather than builds you up. And it is not love. Don't buy into that illusion. As a man who understands his worth, you don't stay in places where your presence is treated as a privilege that can be revoked on a whim. You don't waste energy in games where your value is measured against phantom rivals. You walk away because you know your worth and because you are capable of attracting a woman who respects that worth without threats or power plays. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts. Let your mind be dyed with strength, clarity, and peace. Reject toxic dynamics that poison your spirit. Understand that true respect is demonstrated through connection, not competition, and peace of mind is priceless. If you encounter this kind of manipulation, stand firm and walk away. Your power is your freedom." Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever faced this kind of ego-driven statement? How did you respond? Share your story in the comments and help other men realize they deserve better, inspiring strength and clarity in those who might still be trapped in this toxic cycle. Remember, you are not here to beg for value. You are here to walk in it. If this message hit home, like the video, share it with a brother who needs to hear the truth and subscribe for more no-nonsense wisdom. Drop a comment below with this affirmation to lock it in your mind and spirit. I walk in my worth and demand respect. Let's build a community of men who refuse to settle for less than they deserve. Your story matters. Share your experiences in the comments and inspire others to rise above toxic games. 5. You're too insecure. When a woman tells you you're too insecure, don't fall into the trap of believing she's trying to help you grow or improve yourself. More often than not, this phrase is a weapon aimed to silence you, to confuse you, and to manipulate your perception of reality. Insecurity is a real feeling. Every man experiences it at some point. It's natural to feel vulnerable or uncertain. But there's a crucial difference between insecurity and simply holding standards, setting boundaries, or expressing your feelings. The moment you point out something that bothers you, question her actions, or ask for respect, and she responds by calling you insecure, she's not encouraging you to grow. She's dodging accountability and flipping the script to keep control in her hands. Why? Because when she convinces you that your concerns are signs of weakness, or that your emotions make you less of a man, she wins the power game. You shrink your voice, you silence your needs, you start walking on eggshells, afraid that any attempt to speak up will be twisted into evidence of your insecurity. Before you realize it, you're trapped in a relationship where your voice doesn't matter, where your feelings are invalidated, and where you're conditioned to believe that expressing your truth makes you flawed. Society already pressures men to bottle things up, to be stoic, unemotional, and strong at all costs, even when they feel hurt or troubled inside. We're told to tough it out, to never show vulnerability, and to suppress anything that might seem like weakness. So when the one person you trust starts accusing you of being insecure simply for being honest or setting limits, it hits you harder than almost anything else. It makes you doubt yourself, question your sanity, and retreat deeper into silence. But here's the unshakable truth. A secure man doesn't avoid confrontation. He doesn't confuse jealousy with genuine concern. He faces difficult conversations with clarity and confidence. He demands respect, loyalty, and consistency without apology or shame. He refuses to be shamed or gaslighted into thinking that wanting a healthy, respectful relationship is a flaw. A secure man understands his worth and stands firm in his boundaries. He knows when a woman uses "you're too insecure" as a shield to dodge responsibility, and he calls it out for what it is: emotional manipulation designed to keep him off balance and under control. A woman who respects you will never attack your masculinity for being honest or vulnerable. She will recognize the difference between controlling someone and genuinely communicating. She will value connection over defensiveness. She will listen when you speak your truth, making space for your feelings without turning them into weapons against you. If every time you try to open up, she fires back with "you're too insecure," then you're not in a partnership. You're in a power struggle where you're losing ground. You must stand firm. You must protect your standards. Speak your truth with strength, without shame or hesitation. If she can't handle that, it's not you who lacks security. It's her who lacks the emotional maturity and integrity required to build a healthy relationship. In today's fast-paced, distracted world, where surface-level connections often replace genuine intimacy, this clarity is more important than ever. Real relationships demand courage to be vulnerable, to be honest, and to demand respect. Don't settle for manipulation disguised as concern or help. Your voice is your power. Your boundaries are your armor. Your dignity is non-negotiable. A relationship built on control and emotional games is not love. It's a trap designed to erode your sense of self. Recognize these signs early. Do not ignore the red flags or rationalize away behavior that undermines your worth. Walk away when your core values and self-respect are attacked under the guise of "you're too insecure." You owe that to yourself, to your mental health, and to the kind of life and love you deserve. Be the man who knows his value, who demands respect without apology, and who refuses to be gaslighted into silence or submission. That is true strength in modern life. Stand tall, speak clearly, own your truth. Nothing less will do. 6. I'm not ready for a relationship. When a woman tells you, "I'm not ready for a relationship," don't soften it in your mind as just needing time. Hear this loud and clear. What she's really saying is, "I'm not ready to be with you." It may sting, but it's the harsh truth many men refuse to accept because they cling to hope and ignore reality. This phrase isn't about timing. It's about interest, or the lack thereof. When a woman feels a genuine connection, respect, and excitement toward a man, she doesn't hesitate, overthink, or wait for the perfect moment. She dives in headfirst because desire and commitment don't wait around. Women don't hold back from what they truly want. They only hesitate when they are unsure, indifferent, or keeping their options open. The fatal mistake men make is sticking around, thinking, "If I just keep showing her I'm a good guy, if I'm patient enough, she'll realize I'm the one." That's not persistence. That's handing yourself over to the friend zone dressed as boyfriend energy, and she's slow rejecting you with each "I'm not ready" line. As Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. You must see this phrase for what it really is, a blockade, not an invitation. Here's where the confusion multiplies. She may still call you, flirt, spend time with you, even confide in you, all while telling you she's not ready. You convince yourself she wouldn't do all this if she wasn't interested. Wrong. She's interested in the benefits, the comfort of your presence, but not in the bond you deserve. She likes having you around without giving you the commitment that a real relationship demands. Imagine this: weeks of you showing up, treating her with respect, consistency, and effort, building something solid in your mind. Then you ask about the future, and she says, "I'm not ready for a relationship. I need to figure myself out." 2 weeks later, she's with someone new. That moment shatters illusions and teaches everything you need to know. When the right man arrives, the timing suddenly isn't an issue. The hesitation disappears because the heart knows what it wants. So don't waste your power waiting for a "maybe that's really a no." Don't chase shadows or beg for readiness. That will never come. Accept the truth in her words and move forward with strength and dignity. A man of value doesn't grovel for commitment. He doesn't linger in confusion or hope for scraps. He commands clarity, walks away from uncertainty, and creates space for someone who sees his worth without question. As Seneca wisely said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Don't waste your life on half-hearted chances or unclear signals. When she says, "I'm not ready," understand it's a polite dismissal, a signal to stop proving yourself and start walking away. Don't let yourself fall into the trap of slow rejection disguised as friendship. Instead, embrace the power in knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less. This is your moment to reclaim control over your time, your emotions, and your future. Move with decisiveness. Make your standards non-negotiable. Live by the principle that you deserve clarity, respect, and wholehearted commitment. Share this message if you know a man who needs to hear it. Comment below with your own experience or simply state, I choose strength over waiting. Remember, in the game of life and love, hesitation kills opportunities. Boldness wins the prize. Be bold, be clear, be unstoppable. 7. You're overreacting, it's all in your head. You're overreacting, it's all in your head. When a woman says this to you, understand it immediately as a declaration of control disguised as concern. This is not a simple dismissal. It's a calculated attempt to undermine your reality, to erode your confidence, and to manipulate your emotions. This phrase is a weapon aimed straight at your mind, designed to make you doubt what you feel, question your thoughts, and ultimately surrender your power. The ancient Stoics knew the value of mental clarity and emotional sovereignty. Marcus Aurelius commanded, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever harmed." Yet, truth is not something anyone should twist to belittle you. When you hear you're overreacting, it's all in your head. What you're hearing is a demand to silence your instincts, to betray your own experience, and to submit to her narrative instead of standing firm in your own. This is manipulation, pure and simple. Do not fall for it. In today's world, where emotional manipulation has become alarmingly common, especially in relationships, you must hold your ground like a modern Stoic warrior. Epictetus taught us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your reaction is your power. Your refusal to accept emotional gaslighting is your victory. To let someone repeatedly tell you that your feelings are all in your head is to surrender your sovereignty. It is to give away your right to judge your own experiences and to grant someone else the power to rewrite your reality. That is not strength. That is not love. That is control masquerading as care. And make no mistake, it is toxic. It corrodes your self-respect. It clouds your mind and it drains your spirit. You must be relentless. You must refuse to accept emotional invalidation. You must demand respect first and foremost from yourself. When a woman tries to convince you that your feelings don't matter, you must see it for what it is. A clear signal that this relationship is unhealthy. To survive, to thrive, and to dominate your life, you must cut through this poison. Walk away from any situation where your emotional truth is dismissed as overreaction. The man who masters himself, who defends his peace like a fortress, will never be controlled by manipulative words. This is the essence of modern Stoicism: unshakable mental fortitude, clarity in chaos, and uncompromising respect for your own mind and heart. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Freedom begins with bravery, the bravery to trust your own mind and to reject manipulation. Freedom is not found in submission to others' attempts to rewrite your emotional landscape. It is found in owning your truth, in standing tall no matter the pressure, in commanding respect through your actions and your convictions. Remember, real power lies not in silencing your feelings, but in controlling your response to them. You control your mind. You control your fate. You must never allow anyone to make you feel less than, uncertain, or diminished. When someone tells you you're overreacting, it's all in your head. You are not just being told that, you are being tested. Are you going to surrender your authority over your emotions, or are you going to rise, stronger and more certain than ever before? Do not hesitate. Do not negotiate. Leave immediately if you hear these words repeated. Your time, your energy, and your mental health are too valuable. The world respects the man who respects himself first. Stand firm, stand proud. Embrace the power of Stoic wisdom to keep your mind clear, your will strong, and your heart unbreakable. If you understand this message, take action now. Like this, comment your own story, subscribe for more unfiltered truths, and join a brotherhood of men who refuse to be controlled or diminished. Remember, respect is not earned by asking, it is commanded by unwavering self-respect. Own your mind, own your life, and never let anyone tell you that your feelings are all in your head. That is your command. That is your truth. That is your victory. 8. Stop trying to change me, I'm not interested. Stop trying to change me, I'm not interested. This simple yet profound declaration is far more than a dismissive remark. It is a boundary firmly set, a clear demand for respect, and a powerful affirmation of identity. When a woman tells you this, it's not about stubbornness or defiance. It is a signal that she values her own autonomy above the desire to conform to someone else's expectations. For men aged 35 to 70 who aspire to live by the principles of modern Stoicism, this is a moment to internalize a crucial lesson. You cannot control others, only yourself. Trying to force change on someone else is a futile endeavor that only leads to frustration, resentment, and eventual breakdown. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoics, reminds us, accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. If she is saying, stop trying to change me, she is telling you to accept her fully or not at all. There is no middle ground. This is about respect. If you fail to respect her boundaries, you show disrespect not just to her, but also to yourself. This is the hard truth many men avoid facing. Love is not about possession or control. It is about acceptance and mutual growth. The Stoic philosophy teaches that the only thing truly in your control is your own mind and actions. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you hear this phrase from a partner, your reaction is everything. You must resist the urge to plead, argue, or coerce. Instead, recognize that insisting on change undermines the foundation of any relationship. It signals a lack of alignment in values, which is a fundamental incompatibility. The modern Stoic man knows when to hold firm and when to walk away, because sometimes the greatest act of strength is the courage to let go. Real life confirms this over and over. Relationships forced into molds break under pressure, while those built on acceptance and understanding thrive. If you attempt to change someone, you are denying their authentic self, and in doing so, you poison the relationship. This is not weakness, this is wisdom. It is a decisive moment to either realign with someone who respects your nature as much as you respect theirs, or to move on without bitterness. Furthermore, this declaration invites you to reflect on your own behavior. Are you projecting your ideals onto her? Are you attempting to sculpt a person into what you think they should be, rather than embracing who they truly are? The Stoic answer is clear. Stop. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well, said Epictetus. Accept her as she is, or let her go. It is that simple and that difficult. This is the foundation of genuine relationships, grounded in reality, not fantasy. In practical terms, it means listening deeply, respecting boundaries and embracing discomfort instead of trying to control it. If she says, "Stop trying to change me," honor that statement immediately. This respect creates space for mutual growth or signals when it's time to walk away. Men, understand that true strength lies not in dominance, but in restraint, not in control, but in acceptance. The wise man knows that love is not a battlefield to conquer, but a garden to nurture. When you respect a woman's autonomy, you create a relationship rooted in trust and freedom, where both partners can flourish. This is the essence of modern Stoicism applied to love and life. Control what is within your power, accept what is not, and act with integrity and clarity. Have you faced this in your own relationships? How did you respond when a woman told you to stop trying to change her? Share your experiences and insights below. Your honesty can help others navigate this challenging truth. Remember, the strongest men are those who honor both themselves and others with unyielding respect and courage. If a woman says these words, listen closely. They are not just words, but a life lesson in disguise. Embrace it or walk away. Your choice defines your character. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, real strength comes from knowing your worth and protecting your peace above all else. If a woman tells you any of those 8 things, don't hesitate. Walk away with your head held high. Life is too short to waste on people who don't respect your boundaries or value your feelings. Stay true to yourself, stay strong, and keep growing every day. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.